All right. Welcome to another episode, whatever, of my FX Buddies, the podcast. And I say podcast because there is a video that you can go see at spotify.com, and look up my FX Buddies, and it's there and you can see the video. Okay, don't forget. I just thought about something I wanted to show you guys. I have to make a note to myself. Okay. All right. And RSS.com is a podcast that will also have a transcript. So, because I know I talk funny, I talk fast, I don't pronounce things right, I don't finish sentences. I'm trying really hard though. And so the transcript comes out, and I don't know, maybe it helps. And then the blog is going to have all these articles, and I'm going to give you a heads up. It's boring. The news, there's lots of news, but it is boring news. I mean, it's exciting to me, but it's going to be boring to y'all because it has nothing to do with going to the bank or the rate changing. But okay. So what else? Oh yeah, so the blog is myfxbuddies.blogspot.com. I should probably turn the TV down. And that's where you can see the articles. I'm just gonna pick and choose the parts that are pertinent to me, but if you want to read the complete article, or if you're like me, you like to see things for yourself. People that know I call myself Doubting Tish, right? So Doubting Thomas, I'm Doubting Tish. I like to see it for myself. But anyway, all right. So I think that's everything. Yeah. If not, oh, and it's on Apple Podcasts and all that stuff too. Just do a search, My FX Buddies, and all the places come up. And if there's a subscribe, join, whatever button there, you should click that, because I don't record regularly, and that way, if you would like to be notified when I do record, then if all things work like they're supposed to, it will notify you, right? All right, so let's get started. So I'm going to update you for the week. Well, first, and I truly believe it was a good article week. Okay, but let me just tell you. So there's major attention for the incidents with the Quran. Notice I said incidents. Yes, the fool that burned one the first time, and he's an Iraqi. He's in Sweden. He set another Quran on fire. Then someone in Denmark went in front of the Iraqi embassy in Denmark and burnt a Quran. So there's lots of demonstrations in at least 4 Muslim countries, I guess, Arabic countries, I don't know, besides Iraq. So I think in Iraq they burned down the Swedish embassy. Yeah, first time they were peaceful, but second time not. And I'm going to show you, Sadar even came out and said the time for talking is over. So that's not good. So that is, and then what's the other situation that I don't really post articles about? More troops. We are sending more troops. Even Iraq said we sent 1,500 more troops, gearing up for something that's going on in Syria. So there's just that little thing going on over there that, and it's not a matter of it interfering with the RV. it could interfere with the stability that they've had, the security and the stability that Iraq has had for maybe a good 2 months now, right? And in fact, the German, I have the article here on the blog. We should have time to cover it. This will be 30 minutes. I'm just letting you know because I'm catching you up for the week. All right. But I think it will be entertaining. So just hang in there. But definitely, if you are sleepy, do not lay down because you will go to sleep. Anyway, the German defense minister was set to come to Iraq this week. And he said, you got a little situation going on over there. I think I'll wait and I'll come next week. So now that's not business or money. I'm not really sure. You know what? Actually, I think it is because there was another article that said Iraq wants to align with the biggest nation in the EU zone. And I don't know. I'm very ignorant of Europe. I've never been there. I don't know. I know one of the countries looks like a boot. I think that's Italy, right? It's shaped like a boot. That's about it. But I'm guessing that may have been Germany. So they're trying to connect. But right now, people are, they're like, get that Quran demonstration under control, then we'll come. And it's not even, I don't think they're going to damage their stuff. They're just out in the streets. Well, they do. They want us to come out a little more forcefully against the burning of the Quran. They want the American ambassador to make a more forceful statement, I guess. But anyway, so those are just two things that are happening in the background that I keep my eye on, like I said, but I don't really post. Okay, so here we go. So the title of this podcast is Statement from Central Bank of Iraq Regarding the Exchange Rate of the Dollar. Urgent. Okay, but that happened today. So we'll wrap up with that, right? So let's go to Monday. This was a new development. Monday, the region, which is Kurdistan, the Kurdistan government, they appealed some parts of the budget law. And we still don't have a response. So I don't know if the federal court is just going to toss their case out. I don't know. And we still don't have an answer. But also this week Wednesday was a holiday. Thursday they made a heat holiday because it's been like 122, 126 degrees over there. So then Friday is their holy day, right? Yeah, so 50 degrees Celsius is 122 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's been 50, 52, 54 degrees Celsius. So there could have been more done this week, I believe. But they have those holidays and then the heat holiday. So yeah. So we'll see what happens this week. This week is going to be interesting also because the Federal Reserve, our Federal Reserve, is going to meet and probably raise rates, which affects the whole world still. So, yeah, okay. So that happened. Let's see. And what was this? To discuss the exchange rate. Parliament finance this time. Oh, yeah, okay. So the exchange rate, well, we put sanctions on 14 banks, possibly 18. 14 banks, 4 private banks. And the rate has gone up every day since. So I think it was Wednesday, and we'll cover that. But so this came out, and parliamentary finance is going to host the central bank governor and possibly the finance minister to ask them, so what are you going to do about the dollar exchange rate? So we'll see. And then their thing was they want to know how they're going to maintain the 1320. See right here? And I'm like, but we don't want them to maintain the 1320. We want to change the rate. All right. Okay, so these are Monday. We're on Monday still. Maliki's coalition describes the talk about passing the oil and gas law as media aura. So this lady, Aliyah Nassif, she, even though she's in Maliki's coalition, for some reason she gets listened to. A lot of times in the past she had said things were going to happen, and they did. So she came out and said, some people talk about the legislation of the oil and gas law. They're mere claims, auctions, and media statements, right? So they have a saying, ink on paper, and something else about promises, just words that aren't going to come true. And she added, the legislation of the oil and gas law will contribute significantly to making the wealth return to all the Iraqi people fairly. So you see why this is such an important article? Law, and why I feel it won't. To do this, they need to know the rate they're going to charge, right? And as long as I've been in this, which is a long time, but I'm not going to say how long. There's been two schools of thought. The oil and gas law can't go without the rate, or the rate can't go without the oil and gas law. And here we are, still waiting for both, right? Okay. So there was lots of articles throughout the week. Money changers are asking the central bank to ease the procedures against them. So this is in the southern part of Iraq. See, ongoing security campaign in the south affected the nature of market in general. So from a very smart gentleman that I listened to, he made it clearer to me, because I was like, what's going on in southern Iraq? It's a little different in southern Iraq. Now, I do know that they're more heavenly. It is Sunday. I did spend a lot of time listening to church. But what I meant to say was the southern part of the country is more heavily influenced by Iran. But over the years, the Iraqis that live there have chased out the Iranians, but apparently they're still there. So they were, I think, a little more strict. Plus, by cutting off the dollar, they're cutting off the dollar to Iran, which is why Iran is mad and pushing back. So that helped me understand why there's a little more pushback from the money changers, exchangers, merchants, whatever you want to call them. They have different names. And I have the articles there if you want to read them. The President of the Republic directs the necessity of serious work. Not just work, but serious work. And giving priority to the implementation of Article 140. So this is another law. I'm fairly certain it has been passed. It doesn't need to be passed anymore, but they have not implemented it. They started to. There were several times in a couple of years past where there were articles, and I saw them with my own two eyes, where they said they dispersed funds from Article 140. But it stops. So this week there was a lot of talk again about implementing Article 140. And that makes me happy, because this is another thing that, as long as I've been in this, there's been two schools of thought. They can't do Article 140 without the rate, and they can't do the rate without Article 140. So here they are again. Is this the one? The importance, they just talked about the importance of following up on and implementing the decisions, right, of the Supreme Committee for the implementation of the article. So they have a special committee that was appointed, and that they came back to work and they did a press conference. So that's another indication that they're getting ready. Yeah, look at that name. I don't even know how to say those. I can say Ahmed or Ahmed, but not his first and middle name. All right, yeah. So, okay, so now we're on Tuesday. Ooh, we're at 15 minutes Tuesday. Okay, let's see. Starting from, this article had some people upset with me. Starting from tomorrow, a deputy confirms the implementation of the budget items in all state institutions. But of course, then when you read, it said, tomorrow or the day after, right? Here it is. They'll send the budget to all ministries tomorrow or the day after. But we were waiting for that last weekend, right? And it didn't happen. And it was kind of up in the air. Did it happen? It didn't happen. It was told to someone that I know, like, and trust, that it did happen. We just can't see the evidence of it. Evidence. Yep, I watched me some. You know who that is. If you know who that is, you know. If you don't, you don't. Watched him today too. All right. Let's see. Mystery of the high dollar. An expert explains the mystery of the high dollar. Despite the increase in central sales, America's veto is still working. So lots of America bashing in Iraqi news. They're blaming us, which it probably is, the new system, and it even says here U.S. Federal SWIFT, U.S. Treasury. They have to go through that system, so it's a delay. So there's entities that are selling dollars that aren't going through that system, but they just raise the price of the dollar, which is why the dollar price is elevated. Okay, let's see. Here's more about the oil and gas law. It takes center stage. All right. You could read these, but I just want you to see how much talk, and I've posted the best of the best of the articles. So just the 2 or 3 that I have here are not the only ones. There's a whole slew of articles. I just go through the ones that have the best translation, that aren't that long, and yeah, okay. So the exchange rate of the dollar continues to rise without deterrent measures, but there are deterrent measures. They're just not working. And so here we are, July 23rd. Oh, did I say that? It is Sunday, July 23rd. You probably will. It's early enough that I should get this updated to all of the sites on today for July 23rd. All right. Many speculators are working to increase their dollar currency in order to sell it on the black market and obtain great benefits. In cooperation with some currency brokers and traders, especially those who work in buying and selling cars. And as there are no procedures for converting sales into dinars. So there's 2 things. So here, buying cars could be a possible way to money launder, right? And then there's that other thing that I don't know if we talked about, but during the week, here, perfect timing. But wait, what was I going to say? So in one of the articles, it said that some of these black market dollar dealers could be making $100,000 profit. So you think they're upset? No, they're not upset, and that's why they're remaining in the status that they are. Okay, so here, this is an article from Iran that was in Iraq's news. The presence of the representative of the U.S. Treasury in the Commercial Bank of Iraq is a violation of Iraq's sovereignty. So they're mad because they can't get dollars, right? And they're trying to tell Iraq, you should be mad too. You should be mad because that your money has to go through the U.S. Treasury. That is infringing on your sovereignty. So here's one little sentence that I like. They told them, well, some of the Iraqi politicians do not want to clash with the United States and believe that it has tools to put pressure on the country, right? The United States has tools to put pressure on the country. Blackmail, right? That's a nice way of saying blackmail. But the question that arises is, did China, Russia, India, Brazil, Indonesia, and Vietnam build their renaissances despite America's nose? So they're saying, didn't all these other countries build up despite America being all up in their business? And the dollar being the reserve currency? Well, yes, they did. So, he's saying we don't have to totally fight the U.S. to have our Renaissance time, but I think they do. Here we go again. Article 140 turns into a successful investment tool as the elections approach. So they're supposed to have elections again, and so they what do? They make promises. Vote for me, and I'll make all your dreams come true. So, but I'm just, again, illustrating how much talk there was in the news and the oil and gas law. And here was a tweet that I came across, not an article, a tweet. We're continuing in the House of Representatives and Committee on Oil, Gas, and Natural Resources in discussions and meetings to legislate the hashtag oil and gas law, and that the current legislative term will witness the first and second reading of the law and its passing to draw a new map for the oil sector in Iraq. Now, what I liked about this was she told, hey, don't fret, people. We're working on this. Even though you don't see us, we're working behind the scenes. So I was happy that I came across that. Okay, now we're on Wednesday. This was I laughed every time I see this article because I had just spent some time telling some people it doesn't make sense to me that the Venezuela Bolivar would revalue, right? Or that we would be allowed to partake in them revaluing. And then here it came out Wednesday. Iraq is preparing a memorandum of understanding with Venezuela in the field of energy and gas and sends its foreign minister to Caracas. And if you're watching Billions, if you watch the show Billions, they're showing season 3 again. And season 3, they had an episode centered around the Bolivar. Oh, I thought so funny. So is God trying to tell me something? I don't know. But so, if you're interested, this article is here on the blog under Wednesday. And then also Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia came to Iraq. Iraq welcomes cooperation. Well, not the whole country. People from Saudi Arabia to develop the energy sector. So there they are, the Saudis, and there's Iraq in business suits. And then there's stuff here, they're not telling us everything, right? But okay, so here's some people. It's been more than 5 months since the decision to reduce the exchange rate, and the dollar is still high. Yeah, so people are complaining. They're letting their dissatisfaction be known, and I think that's good. Citizens in Mosul are calling on the central bank and the government to solve the problem of the exchange rate. Now, they wouldn't normally go to Mosul just to interview them but also the CBI announced last week, that they're opening a branch of the CBI in Mosul. So I think while they were there, for that, the media interviewed some of the people, and they're like, hey, we need our purchasing power, So I like that. I always like when they're getting pressure. All right, so here it is. With names, America imposes sanctions on 14 Iraqi banks for dealings with Iran in dollars. So they didn't shut them down. And this was in the Wall Street Journal. Why does the Wall Street Journal get to make all these announcements? I wonder. But so here they named the banks, and then down here it says 4 other Iraqi banks. But it says, Yeah. It's 4 other banks, which I think are private banks. So guess what? Ever since they did this, the dollar's been rising. And I'm fairly certain it's up to 1600, even though they haven't put that in writing. I believe that it is. Okay, 25 minutes. All right. Maybe we're not going to get through all of this, but here's my one commercial that I do. Um, if you or someone you know owned a business, or you still own the business, or if you got PPP, the PPP loan, you qualify. There's money qualifying you that you could qualify for if you stayed open during COVID. And still, over 80% of the businesses that qualify for this money have not um, applied. So you can go to this website here, yourerchere.com, and it's a quick application, I guess you'd say, a form. I'll say a form, and you put in that information, and someone calls you back, and it's a short 15 minutes at the most. They try to keep it to 8 to 10, but I'm just going to go ahead and say 15 minutes, right? And they'll let you know if you qualify. If you qualify, they will walk you through every step. And it's best if you have at least 5 W-2 employees, but sometimes they're able to help people with less. So, all right, that's my one commercial that I do. So here, Thursday, the rise in the value of the dollar and an expected economic crisis. They are in crisis. I'm sorry about that. I don't know how to mute. That is a motorcycle. And he leaves at 4 a.m. in the morning. And he comes home about this time every day. All right, anyway, apologize for that. Okay, so what was this? This is just another article about the system, how, they have to go through SWIFT and the U.S. Federal Reserve. And it's causing a problem. But it has a lot of other information too. Moody's downgraded Iraq's economic strength by 2 points. So their rating now is BA2. Don't know what effect that's going to have. I know they're not happy about it. I know they were trying to they want to go up, not down. And they did. They went down. So, but I'm sure they could very quickly turn it around, right? Okay, so now we're on Friday, 27 minutes. Something happened. This was one of the things that I think is good. Very positive. Next week, we'll start delivering non-oil revenues to Baghdad. This has been a problem. They did not want to deliver oil and they did not want to deliver money to Baghdad. And something has happened. And now they're saying next week they're going to start. So we'll see. We'll see if they do. So that was one good thing. Here is more about the crisis of the rise of the dollar returns to the 4. And is this the one? Okay, this article caused a stir because they have here the official rate set at 11.32. But we know if we go to the CBI, what's the rate? 13.10, right? Let me refresh. Come on. Yep, still 13.10. Since we're here, let's check Forex. What rate Forex is showing? The markets are open. Oh, 12.82. So currently, USD/IQD is 12.82. Let's see what the Google says. The Google has 13.09. Yep. All right. So, why do they keep every now and then this 11:32 pops out? Well, we're at 29 minutes. Okay, so let me find the other thing that I thought was very good. Oh, here was disclosure of the date of the vote on the oil and gas law. And of course, there is no date, but they did put out, I believe that there are final political touches to agree on it, the law, and therefore we wait in the House as soon as the book or draft laws reach the Parliament. So we don't know when that is, but before they were saying it would take months before they voted on it, to be referred to the Committee Legal, which is concerned with studying and discussing the paragraphs and rationale of this topic, and thus putting it on the agenda soon for a vote. So that's another thing that I think was very positive. All right. So today, so here's the article that I said, talking is no longer useful, and the firefly is not convincing. I don't know what that. Oh, maybe burning down the embassy. So that is Sadar. A new message from Sadar. Talking is no longer useful. And then he had another one out today, but I couldn't translate that one for some reason. It kept coming up as jibber jabber. More about the Treasury. And instead of trying to get Parliament to meet with the CBI governor on Tuesday, they want to meet tomorrow. So here's the German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius canceled an official visit to Iraq Sunday, citing security concerns after the Qurans were burned in Sweden and Denmark. So there's one thing canceled. Let's see if anything else is canceled this week. And the dollar is losing its mind and is accelerating upward. Customers of banned banks flock to the parallel market. So the people who are going to get dollars for the Iranians, instead of using those 14 banks that we put sanctions on, they're just going to other banks or they're going to the black market. And, oh, the big news, let me see. The CBI put out a notice. And you can see that on the CBI. They are going to compensate citizens and companies who buy dollars at the black market price. But guess what? That would mean what? You have to admit that you did. And then they're going to ask you, well, where did you go to get these dollars? Right? So I don't think too many people are going to take them up on that offer. But they did offer that. And they're taking measures to stabilize the currency market. You're right. No, they're not. But they did put that statement out. You can go to the CBI if you know how to maneuver the CBI and see that. But it is here on the blog too. I just read you that from the statement. All right. So that's it. So you are all caught up for this week and this weekend. Like I said, it's good news. There's no bad news. Oh, there was one article. Wait, I do have to tell you this. So remember earlier, I had said that there was an article that came out that had some people upset because they're like, they did announce the instructions. Guess what? They had a meeting today. Let's see. Let's do this faster. Control find completed. Oh, here. So they had an emergency meeting. Here's this crooked judge. I call him Judge Z. His last name is Zain. Here's Sudani. Here's Halabusi. And here is the president, Latif Rashid. He has two other names I still haven't memorized. The meeting discussed the file of the federal budget law and the need to complete its instructions. So right there, this is today, a few hours ago. They have not completed the release of the instructions of the budget. So that could be what is being used as a delay for all of you guys who are expecting it this week, next week. There you have it in black and white. Don't argue with me. That's right out of Iraq's news. Okay? So, but it's not, my timeline is still intact, right? So, yes, I hope this is helpful to you. I do this to give you strictly the article perspectives. I'm not a guru. I don't have Iraqi contacts. I don't have bank contacts. I go strictly by the articles. I know a lot of people don't have time to read the articles. Even if you read them, you don't understand them. So I try to make sense of them for you. At least the story that they tell. Doesn't mean I believe everything in the articles, but this is the story they put out to their citizens. So this is what we have to watch because that's what I can see, right? All right. So thank you. Sorry it was so long. I'll try to do more so they won't be so long. Um, and enjoy. I hope you had a good weekend. I'm trying to think of what I always say. Accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. And enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame fits while you are enjoying this podcast. And until next time.